Make the ground shake.
Hello everyone and welcome to another tank review. I'm here today with the tier 10 French medium autoloader, the Batchat 25T. Now, since I first started playing World of Tanks and when I got my first tier 10, the AS7, I despised the Batchat really because it has a very nasty gun if it cuts you out. But that being said, this tank is not noob friendly at all. And why is that? We shall take a look now into some details. As always, we shall take a look into the armor first. As you can see, there isn't really much to talk about here. On the hull 60 at the most, on the turret 70. Those values are pretty appalling even for a tier 5 vehicle, let alone a tier 10, so don't expect anything to bounce with it unless it is at some weird angle such as this one here, where you kind of have a chance to bounce, but other than that, don't get your hopes too high. Sides and rear are even worse, so don't get hit at all. HE can get through this rather easily. As you can see, 30 on the rear, 15 on the back of the turret, so even RT, if it hits you, it will do full damage even if it's a tier 8 one. So what have we established here so far is that this tank has no armor, but in all other aspects it is pretty monstrous in my opinion. Let's compare it to its main rival. Since 9.13, this is its main rival, the new Czech tier 10 medium, the TVP T50-51. Both are very fast tanks, both have autoloaders, and both have a very skill cap. But as much as they are similar, they are as much different, because the Batchat has a worse DPM, but in an autoloading tank, if I'm honest, the DPM doesn't really matter. When it comes to the raw stats of the gun, the Batchat is clearly pulling ahead. As you can see, it has 11 better penetration and 70 better alpha damage, because the Batchat uses a 105mm gun and the TVP 100mm gun. But as you can see from there on, the TVP pretty much beats it in every way. The rate of fire is a lot worse. The reload time of the magazine is also a lot worse, almost twice as long, but that is to be expected since you do have one extra shell in the magazine, plus you get 70 alpha damage more per shell than the TVP. The shell velocity is better. The maximum range that is standard for all vehicles in World of Tanks apart from RT, I think, and this is the really annoying part about the Batchat. The ammo capacity of the tank is only at 30 shells. Now that has a potential of around 11,500 damage, but this gun is so bad, there is no way you can hit and pen all of your shots. No way. Even a waffle in the open standing can be missed if you are fully aimed sometimes. But you have to be careful with this thing, and you will see that a problem, I think, in the game that I will show you in just a moment. Game time a lot worse than the TVP. You are barely aiming between your shots, and that is a thing I forgot to mention. This is where the budget suffers the most. 2.73 seconds between the shells is very long time for an autoloader compared to the TVP's 1.5 seconds. As for the accuracy, it is worse than the TVP, but not by much. 0.36 is workable. The dispersion is actually slightly better on the tank traversing part, but on the turret traversing part it is a lot worse. After firing it is a lot worse, and as I said, the aim time makes it so bad that you have to aim all of your shots. You pulling a snapshot in a budget is a risk on its own. Now this is the most frustrating part about the budget, to me at least. The depression of 6 degrees is alright, I can work around, but the elevation of 11 is so annoying that I have missed so many shots just because of it. It is basically on levels like the MX50 120, and believe it or not, on the if you aim like this it is only 8, so you have to very be careful with that. As for the mobility, this tank is fast. It is the fastest tier 10 in a straight line, but the traverse speed is pretty poor at only 42 degrees. But then again, these soft stats here are considerably better than the TVP, so you can expect this thing to shift. As for the view range, I thought it was 410 really, but it might have gotten nerfed in some patches ago when I didn't have it, so that is that. But the camo values are the best in its tier. I think we should I should mention just for the equipment next. A bird stop on this thing is a must to me, and a coated optics as well. As for the third slot, either go with vents or gun lane drive. I'm going with gun lane drive because I want my shots to be fully aimed every time I pull the trigger between the shots. With the vents that is pretty much impossible, but if you feel that the budget is hitting your shots, go with vents. You will have improved mobility and reload time by around 2 seconds of the whole magazine, but I prefer the gun lane drive, but that is just my personal taste. As for crew skills, this thing is very crew skill dependent, if I'm honest with you. Sixth Sense is a must as always. Brothers in Arms also helps a lot. Situational awareness also helps a lot with the view range. I would prioritize camo because this thing, even without the repair skills, repair is tracking around 8 seconds, but you can go with on 2 crew members with camo, on 1 with repairs if you do not have the skills grinded out. Smooth ride and snapshot are a very must on this thing. I would prioritize it even over off-road driving and stuff like that. I think this was enough spreadsheet reading. Let's get into some battles. So off we go with the game, and we are here on Fiery Silent, which is another version of the Prokhorovka. Obviously a tier 10 matchup, and there is no RT, which means that you can play the game. Now this was my second game with 105mm, and I forgot to mention it in the garage. Yes, this thing, when you spend 6 million credits on it, you don't even have it elite. You have to grind the 105, which believe me is a torture, and if you have free experience, use it on this thing, because playing it at tier 10 with the MX50 100's gun is shit. There is no other ways to put it, if I'm honest with you. Now With this tank I will try to go onto the hill and support my allies from there. Usually when they are camping on the rails you can easily spot them, but that was not the case this time. I have gotten up during this game with the Centurion Accent X, so I could help him with the mission that was running here for around 40 gold per day. So that is that, but we aren't really playing coordinated at all. Using auto-aim at the Centurion, try to do something, but it didn't work. The FV is pushing rather aggressively at this point, and I managed to put 2 shots into him. The E5 went full ham, and that was really lucky, and there is too much hit on me, and I decided to go on the reload. So that is around 1000 free damage for me with the armor of the E5, and we are already pulling a massive lead over the enemies. Now the huge advantage that we have is that we have mediums and they have top tier tank destroyers. Top tier tank destroyers are in the current meta the most useless thing around here, plus their players are even worse. So basically the team that has more tank destroyers loses 90% of the time. We cannot push right now this part of the map because there are a lot of tanks right here, but one by one we are exterminating them with my kill on the M103. Now their Centurion is on the rail, so I cannot push aggressively from the bottom, at least for now. Now this ST1 is trying something, I don't know what. He gave me an easy side shot and I took advantage of it. On 2 shells at this point, and it might have been smart to go for the reload a bit earlier, but anyways I go now and I just stay here because there isn't really much to do in the batchet. The batchet is a thing that exceeds in mid to late game situations, and we are still in the early phase of this game where things are still developing. Now the SU-12254 gets spotted on the rails, and I will try to put a shot into him, but he gets unspotted, and I am still on the reload. Now I saw that the Centurion Action X was trying to do something on here, so just in case I will go here, and there he is. I spot him, use auto-aim at him, and that's 1 shot, 2 shots, 3 shots, 4 shots, and even the 5th I managed to connect, but overall I load low because with the batchet you have an average damage per magazine of 1950, and I roll for 1903 with my full magazine, but it doesn't matter that the T-54E1 manages to basically roll up and take him out, and if I'm honest, that doesn't really matter to me all that much. Now I will try to use these houses and bushes here for cover to spot the hill and possibly put side shots into that Yak Tiger and ST1. The Yak Tiger is an easier task if you ask me, and look at that aim time. I'm aiming for 3 and a bit seconds. The Yak Tiger turns his side, that's an easy side shot. We'll go for another easy side shot, and now he is into cover. There is not much I can do, and look at this gun elevation. Just look at it. He is about to get taken out, but the 61 is apparently in his rear. That's 4 shots, and the force takes him out, and I go for another reload. Already up to 6.3k damage, and I was like, holy shit, this might be an ace. With the help of the E5 and the clipping of the Centurion X and X, I pretty much dealt a lot of damage in a quick succession. Now you can clearly see that the DPM for autoloaders doesn't really matter. If you can harness all its potential, the DPM is not important at all, if I'm honest with you. Because already I'm up to 6.3k damage, and this has by far the worst DPM in its tier, so you can clearly see the playstyle of the autoloader. And when people say that yeah, the budget has DPM, it doesn't matter. If you can clip something, screw the DPM. Do spot these two fellas camping here, but I don't really wanna stay in the open to try and shoot them, and I'm still on full HP, so I will try to do something very stupid for now. See the Buffalo E100, put 2 shots into him, and I will try to finish him off with the third, and I do, but the 704 and the Yak Panzer E100 managed to sneak a shot into me. So as I said, those huge caliber guns have basically no hope of bouncing. I do spot the 704 now and take him out. Do have 1 shell remaining, and this is where this cost me some damage, if I'm honest with you. If I went for the reload and not stayed with 1 shell, which is a mistake, no doubt about it, I would have been able to do a lot more damage, and you will see why. The FV fired and the Yak Panzer fired, so yes, I do 408 damage more at this point, but I would have been able to put a lot more damage into the FV because I would have been reloaded by now, and I would have had the 1100 more extra damage just for myself. But what can you do? I do try to track him at this point, but he strikes up. I don't know what. I should have broken, but didn't. So I'm on the verge of fully reloading, and will I be able to take him out? Nope. The 121 takes him out, but that is fine by me. Let's take a look into the post-battle results. So here we are in the post-battle results of that game. As you can see, I managed to pick up Ace Tanker combined with some other tokens, and from the battlefield medals I managed to pick up Tank Sniper and High Caliber, which is kind of unusual for a batshot with its very poor gun handling. If you look into the team score, you can see that we did almost 8,000 damage with 4 kills and 1,305 base experience, which puts us on top in our team. If you look into the detailed report, we can see that we did fire 21 shots, 20 of which hit and 19 penetrated. If I'm honest with you, usually this gun doesn't behave so well. This was kind of an RNG okay game. Most of the time you will struggle to hit more than 70% of your shots. From our 8,000 damage, we did have around 2,000 from a sniping distance, but that is Prokhorovka for you. It is a very open map, so all the engagements are at a very long range. We did manage to even block 1 shot of 390 damage. We did spot 3 vehicles, damaged 11 and destroyed 4 with 3,500 assistance damage, which contributes greatly to the mass effect that I had in this game. Anyway, guys, that was my take on the Batcha 25T. It is one of the best things in the game, if I'm honest with you, and certainly one of my favorites. You have to be very careful while playing it. I will add that because it allows no mistakes because of its paper thin armor. But if you play right, you will be rewarded greatly with it. Hope you enjoyed this video, and bye for now.